Good afternoon, honorable judges, fellow participants, and families. My name is雨洁Sophia.
My name is雨洁Emily.
My name is雨洁Madeline.
We're Group N from Wesley Girls High School, and today we're going to talk about our science project. Can plastic reduce poverty and stop pollution?
There are several ways to reduce plastic waste. However, today we're going to focus on how plastic bottle greenhouse reduce poverty and stop pollution in Alaska and Siberia.
Okay, so here is a map that you can see there are 3 red circles, and these 3 red circles are all highlighting the regions that has higher density of highland. So comparing to the next map, here you can see all these areas are actually all confronting with the problem of poverty. So the reason why we are mainly focusing on poverty in mountainous area is basically because we believe that when it comes to the topic of poverty, like places like in deserts or in tropical areas will occur to people's mind easily. But however, since mountainous area, they have a lot of people who are still leading their life in these areas, we think that we shouldn't overlook the problem that is happening in these areas.
And now I'm going to talk about the 2 main regions that we're talking about, which are Alaska and Siberia. And both 2 of the regions are located in mountainous area, and moreover, those two areas are both suffering from poverty as well as food insecurity problem. And moreover, we think that the reasons of this are mostly because the lack of the transportation, the short growing seasons, and lastly, the huge amount of food importing from other countries.
To sum up the 2 examples, we found a solution and decided to build a plastic bottle greenhouse. But why? Why plastic bottle greenhouse? First, low cost. A plastic bottle greenhouse costs only 1/3 of an ordinary greenhouse due to its locally obtainable material. Second, reduce environmental pollution. Undeveloped and developing countries buy plastic bottles from developed countries to make money. In order to reduce the pollution the plastic bottle has caused, the government has to make use of it. Third, easy to assemble and install. The plastic bottles are so flexible that you can attach them easily. In contrast, the glass is breakable. Fourth, energy efficient. Studies show that the energy saved by reducing the plastic bottles can provide energy for a massive amount of households in the US. Fifth, reduce food prices. Through stable temperature and humidity inside the greenhouse, the crops can grow healthier and stronger, and thus increase the productivity. 6. Earthquake resistance and maintenance. With the sand inside the plastic bottle house can weigh up to 30 tons and 20 times stronger than bricks.
So there is a variety of plastic material that we can use, but the reason why we choose to use plastic bottle instead of other kind of plastic material is because of this story that is based in America, Spain. So this is a picture that was taken from space, and this is how it exactly looks like. So all the white things here are plastic greenhouse in Spain. So even though it produces a lot of agri-food for the locals market and also for the European market, but actually it brings up a lot of problems such as environmental problem and also human rights problem. So due to the reason that the material they use to build their plastic greenhouse in Spain is the plastic sheets, which means that the workers are working in an enclosed space, which is not a good working condition, because when they're spraying the pesticide, they will breathe in the poisonous toxin into their body, which is very harmful for their health. And if this situation continues, then it will lead to the problem of getting cancer easily. And second, because of the plastic sheets again, there will be no gaps inside the greenhouse for the air to circulate. So if there are no air circulating inside the greenhouse, then the area will be faced with the problem of desertification.
Why do we replace plastic sheets with plastic bottles? It takes at least 400 years for a plastic bottle to decompose. On the other hand, it takes only 10 to 20 years for a plastic sheet to break down. Also, plastic bottles are stronger than plastic sheets, and it can provide gas for air to circulate and rain to water the plants. Plastic sheets are breakable and neither with gaps nor easily preserved. So we believe that the plastic bottle are the best choice for a plastic greenhouse.
And now we'll move on and talk about the reason why, the process of how we make this plastic bottle greenhouse. First, we did a lot of research on the internet and estimated that we will need approximately 2,000 plastic bottles to build this greenhouse. But the first challenge we faced was that we actually need more than we expected. So big thanks to our family members. They have brought us to several night markets as well as the recycling center to collect the ones we need. And when we first washed them, we were actually kind of scared because they were all really stinky and full of drinks that had gone bad. However, at last we actually found ourselves becoming really numb while washing them. Even though it might sound like a really bad experience, we actually enjoyed and cherished it a lot because we learned a lot of things which was beyond our belief. First, we acknowledge the hardship of people who work at the recycling center. Second, we understand how lucky we are to have our parents' support. And third, which is the most important, we learned the real meaning of the phrase, teamwork makes the dream work.
So here in total, we collect like 36 bags of plastic bottles. And after cleaning all the bottles, we cut down the bottom of it so that the nylon strings can go through our bottles. And here comes a very essential part of our process, which is to build the outframe of our plastic bottle greenhouse. And because this is our first time to be as a carpenter, so we accidentally hurt our fingers when we are hammering the nails. And something very funny is that we hurt our same fingers. And even though it was really painful at the moment, but it turns out to become a very unforgettable memory. But of course we hope that this will be once in a lifetime experience because we don't want this to happen anymore. So here are the pictures that we are making the frame of our greenhouse. And here comes the next step, which is to string up the bottles. And after stringing all the bottles, we will start to tie the rope onto the frame. So this step may seem to be very easy, but for us, after doing it, we found it very troublesome and difficult. Because first of all, the texture of the nylon strings is very slippery, so it turns out to become very hard for us to tie it on the frame tightly. And the second reason is because the bottles have to be assembled to one another tightly, so this makes it even harder for us to do it. And this is the greenhouse that we finished. We finished it and we put it in our school to do the experiment. So, because the size of it is too big for us to bring it here, so we made a smaller version of it right here, so you can see it right here. And other than this, we also made a 360-degree video for everyone to see it, so that you can see the actual model of our plastic bottle greenhouse. And the judges, please remember to move the iPad so you can see the whole view of it. Okay, so we put 2 sample plants both inside and outside the greenhouse. And on the first day, and on the third day after we planted down the seeds, we found a lot of big gaps between the bottles, where you can see it right here. There are a lot of gaps here. So because of the big gaps, it leads to the consequences that the temperature gap didn't meet our expectations. So like to solve this problem, we use the nylon ropes again to tie the bottles horizontally to minimize the gap. So other than this, there is also good news on that day is that our very first sprout, where you can see it right here, finally appears on top of the soil inside the greenhouse.
On our 5th day, the gap we minimized last time didn't work, so the temperature gap has rose from 2 degrees to 7 degrees Celsius. If you take a closer look, you can find out that the sprouts inside the greenhouse are a little bigger than the sprouts outside the greenhouse. And we also hung up the hygrometer to check out the humidity that day.
And the date is December 21st, which was our 7th day. On that day, we found out that those days were actually really nice. And it was 27 degrees outside the greenhouse and 35 degrees inside the greenhouse. On those days, we can find out that the sprouts inside actually grew really well. And on the day, we also dropped in some liquid fertilizer to make it grow even faster and better.
On December 27th, our 13th day, we discovered the average of the temperature gap is 5 degrees Celsius, and the sprouts inside the greenhouse are really healthier and stronger than the sprouts outside the greenhouse, which is a sight we were happy to see.
So this is a chart of figures that we have jotted down during the last 3 days. And other than finding that the average temperature gap is 5 degrees Celsius, we also found out that our plastic bottle greenhouse has better function of humidity retention. So when the humidity outside the greenhouse seems to be higher than inside, then that means it was raining during that period of time. But when it reveals exactly the opposite, then that means the weather was turning better, and the moist inside the soil outside the greenhouse starts to evaporate. So I guess a lot of you may come up with the questions that why there are only 3 days of observations being recorded. So to say honestly, due to time limitation and also lack of experience, we did a lot of adjustment throughout our experiment because there are a lot of variable factors that may influence the result. So the first variable factor is the weather. During those days, Taipei was extremely hot and it rained a lot. So it was totally different to the weather conditions that we will see in the mountains area. Subsequently, the material we used to string up the bottles are nylon ropes. However, compared to recent studies that we have found, it indicates that when we use the bamboo sticks to string up the bottles, it can be more environmental friendly and it can also minimize the gap. So to use this method to have smaller gaps, it may also enable the temperature gap to reach to 10 degrees Celsius. So which is another variable factors that we may have to take into consideration when we are doing this experiment again in the future. So due to these factors, these are the statistics that we got during these 3 days are the ones that we think that they have the most reference value. So this is the reason why. But of course, in the future, if time is acceptable, then we will be willing to take a deeper look into our experiment and to bring up with a more comprehensive and accurate statistics. So back to our example that we have mentioned in the beginning. So in Siberia, according to the statistics that we have found, the average temperature in the summer is 17 degrees Celsius. And in winter, it is minus 25 degrees Celsius, which is all quite low. So as you can see from this chart, if there are no plastic bottle greenhouse, then the growing season will only be limited through June to August. But if we make good use of our plastic bottle greenhouse, then they can extend the growing season from 3 months to 5 months, which is May to September.
1 minute.
And this is the example of Alaska. And the Redoubt reporter have predicted that if we use good use of this, we will be able to help the Alaska government to save about $67 million US. So in conclusion, there are 2 significant there are two significant benefits we can bring from the plastic bottle greenhouse. First, we can reduce the waste of money of them to import food from other countries, thus reduce the poverty rate. Second, we'll be able to help the world and motivate people to do more recycling. And due to the reasons above, we believe that by building plastic bottle greenhouse, we can definitely help reduce poverty as well as environmental pollution. And that's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Right, well, wow again. Second wow of the day. Really great science, some really great science there, and actually really big idea. And so the question I had was, which I didn't get from your presentation, is your plan next to provide instructions to people in Alaska and Siberia so they can manufacture their own, or are you planning on manufacturing them maybe through a charity and sending them to Siberia or Alaska? What's the next step in order to implement this big idea? We're going to go for you and me.
I think we're gonna send, if the area is too poor, then we're gonna send the food through the charity to the area. But if they have their own ability to to have their own food, then I believe that they can produce the food themselves.
To Wang Xin, for all of you actually, that was brilliant. And what I really liked was your presentation and in the video was in 3 parts. So you had the animated video, which looked more professional than the Taiwanese immigration video. It was brilliant, and which we've all seen. Then you had the model, then you had the scientific facts. So brilliant. So I've got to ask a difficult question, I'm afraid. So those bottles, they have small gaps between them. How would you protect against pests that like to eat the vegetables? Have you thought about that?
Okay, we thought about this problem already, but we think that if we want to get rid of the pests, then of course you need to use a lot of pesticide. And we do believe that if people now are pursuing for organic food, so we have to accept the truth that there will be pests. But so we believe that if we can make the gap smaller, then of course the amount of it you can cut down the amount of it. Yeah, so I think that you cannot avoid it, but you can reduce the possibility.
Good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to
Very quick question. I don't think I have time. My question is, when I next come to visit your high school, will I be able to see this greenhouse, and are you still using it?
So there is a club in our school which plants a lot of fruit, and we're thinking about giving this to them because actually, like most of the students in our school knows that we have built a plastic bottle greenhouse, and they were already interested. So I think you'll be able to see it.